Hi y'all. Okay, so I wanted to make a video explaining our next photo shoot, which is the editorial magazine cover shoot with a prop. This will walk you through the expectations, the requirements, and then I'm going to go through and show you some examples, some that are great but are missing certain aspects, some that need a little bit of work, some that I think really nailed it all together. So come along with me. I'm going to explain the assignment. I'm also going to show you examples so you kind of get a little bit better look at what I'm looking for and what I'll be grading you on. Okay, so first of all, let's go through the assignment and I will explain to you just what is expected of you, what I'm hoping that you'll hit, all the points and topics that I hope you'll hit when you do your creative deck, and what I'm looking for. So let me share my screen with you. All right. Okay. So your page might look a little different, but essentially everything, the requirements are the same. So this week you're going to create an editorial magazine cover with a prop. Okay, so it's geared towards a publication. Some examples of publications or magazines can be like ID Magazine, Vogue, Elle, Dazed, Guitar World. You can choose essentially any magazine that you want. You can choose a cooking magazine, a gardening magazine, a sports magazine, but then you'll have to obviously style a look that aligns with that publication. So really important to note that a lot of my students get graded down on is if you're going to choose a magazine like Vogue, let's say, the image that you produce has to look like Vogue. Right? So if you tell me that you're going to shoot for Vogue and then you do an image of little kids playing at the park, it's probably not going to align with what Vogue ideals are and what their target market is. So think about that before you choose the magazine. Think about what kind of photo shoot you have in mind and where that image would best lay, right? Which would best align with what publication. Okay, so here we have an example of a cover shoot, right, with a prop. So what is a prop? A prop is something that we use in the industry. So a prop or property is any movable item that can be seen in a film or photo. It could be a car, bike, a cushion, wine glass, animal, etc. It needs to be significant enough to be seen, and it also needs to make sense to your story or character. So you're not going to use any fashion accessories like shoes or a purse or an earring or a necklace. Those aren't going to be significant enough to become a prop. So if we look at this example here, our prop here is this cello or whatever instrument that is. I might be wrong. Okay, this makes sense to this character because it's talking about this person actually plays this instrument, but also wearing high fashion Prada while she plays this instrument for concerts or whatever. So this makes sense for the character and the story, right? Sometimes props are a little bit out of this world, and the idea is that it makes sense for making the audience stop and look and want to see or want to know more about the story. So they have to make sense just for what your goals are, whether it's to tell the story further or to have a shock effect on your audience. So choosing the correct prop is also going to be very important considering the magazine you're shooting for. So if I were to shoot something like, I don't know, Guitar World, I'm obviously going to want to choose some sort of prop that makes sense with my audience. And obviously, if you buy the magazine Guitar World, you're probably very interested in music, specifically guitars, right? Okay, so choosing the prop. Okay, so we're going to create a creative deck like we always do. Our first slide is always going to be our title page. Make sure you put your name, your date, and the assignment name. Second slide is going to be kind of like the optics shoot, but you're changing the brand for the publication you're choosing to shoot for. So in this case, if you choose Vogue or you choose ID Magazine, you're going to explain the magazine. So explain what magazine you're creating images for. You're going to talk about what they stand for or promote. Okay, so do they promote information about cooking or gardening, or do they promote women's fashion and undiscovered designers, right? What are they talking about? What do they stand for? What is their target market? Okay, what are the psychographics of their viewers? So target market, who is buying that magazine? Who is interested in that magazine? A target market for Guitar World, it might be a little bit different than the target market for Vogue. So doing some research here. This is not just made up. And this is another place where you can get marked down. If you're just making up this information, then you're going to get marked down, because I'm going to be able to look in your citations and make sure that you're getting accurate logistical factual information. So make sure that you're getting accurate information for this. Psychographic is, what do the target market like, right? So if we're talking about someone like that buys Vogue, maybe they like to travel to Europe on, on spring break. Maybe they enjoy cappuccinos on the weekends, right? What are some attributes or qualities of that target market? What is the vibe of the publication? Is it really elevated? Is it organic? Is it casual? Like, what kind of a vibe does that publication put out? And then you're going to include images on this slide so that we get some ideas of how that magazine looks. And you can also make this bullet point style to explain the information. For slide 3 is going to be a mood board for your shoot concept. Okay, so this is all about your shoot. Okay, again, I want to reiterate, varied forms of inspiration. So if you're doing a Vogue cover shoot, I do not want 8 images of Vogue covers. That's not the intention here. So let's say you're doing a Vogue cover shoot that has to do with pastels and cottagecore and cupcakes and baking. I'm going to want 8 images that really tells that story of this girl that really lives in her cottage in England and bakes all day and has this kind of fairy tale sort of life. You're going to give us inspiration. Maybe your prop inspiration is cupcakes, or maybe it's a tea set. Maybe it's a tiered cake that you're going to have your, your main model smash or something. Okay. You're going to name your shoot. Very important. You're going to give us the location of where you're shooting, color palette, model inspiration. So as you see here, varied forms of inspiration. Really, really important that you are giving, a worldwide view of your photo shoot. Okay. So I don't want to see just like poses, or I don't want to see just pictures of Vogue, past Vogue covers. I want to see what your shoot encompasses. So texture, smell, color palette, location, prop inspiration, model inspiration. It needs to be well-rounded. Okay. All right. So slide 4 is pose reference board. Okay. This is essentially a mood board for different poses that you want to achieve in your photo shoot. So you're going to include 4 to 5 poses for your model to get inspired from. Also going to include images of the prop and tell us why it's significant to your shoot. Okay, so if we go back to that idea with the 3-tiered cake that your, cottagecore model is going to be playing around with in the photo shoot, tell us why that 3-tiered cake is important. Why does it mean something to the story? And also give us 4 to 5 images of inspiration of how that model can interact with that prop. Is she eating it? Is she smashing it? Is she making it? Is she putting it on a beautiful flower? Is she decorating it with, is she putting it on a beautiful platter, or is she decorating it with flowers? Okay, so give us some idea so that when you're actually shooting, you have somewhere to go, somewhere to show the model. This is kind of what I'm trying to achieve. Can we work towards this? Okay. Slide 5 is going to be your raw and edited image. Okay. So slide 5 is going to be a raw and edited image. Make sure that we have a significant prop in our image. Okay. And that you label each image raw or edited. So here I just want to see what you started with and what you ended up with your editing skills. Make sure your prop is prominent. Okay, it doesn't need to have any editing with the magazine cover yet. I just want to see how your model looks, how you styled that model, and how the model's interacting with the prop. Then you're on slide 6, you're going to do the magazine cover. So on this magazine cover, you are going to make your edited image into the cover for the publication with your copy. What does copy mean again? Copy is the title of the magazine, the writing on the cover. Okay, so you're going to make it look like a magazine cover. And that's a really important part of this, because you're going to be able to see how it comes to life and how it aligns with the publication you chose. Slide 7 will be your citations. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be able to check whether you did, you got accurate information. And then here in slide 7, you're also going to add in your behind the scenes images. So make sure to put your behind the scenes images so that I can make sure that you have taken the photos yourself. Okay, so make sure that you are creating a look head to toe on your model. Make sure that you use a prop and make sense to your shoot concept. Make sure the prop is of significant size. Make sure you're including the raw and edited image. Even if you just cropped the edited image, I want to see the difference. Make sure that you are including varied forms of inspiration for your concept on the mood board. Think about your atmosphere. Think about where you're shooting, the environment. Think about little things that can maybe be distracting to your image. Is there I don't know, a cord sticking out, or is an edge of a window that maybe is a little distracting? Think about the environment and how you're shooting in that environment. Do some research on the magazine. Make sure that you're creating a spread that is appropriate for that specific magazine. Okay. And then lastly is making sure that you are pushing the limits with these photos, getting out of your comfort zone, making sure that you're working towards something that you are really proud of. Also making sure that your creative deck aligns with the magazine that you're shooting for. Okay, if I'm doing Vogue and my creative deck is all tie-dye colors and kind of crazy and kooky, that's really going to be a big disconnect for your audience. So making sure that if I choose a magazine like Vogue, my creative deck is very refined, it's elevated, it's high quality, it's professional, right? Aligning with the magazine that I'm shooting for. Okay, so let's get to looking at some student examples. So let me share that with you too here. Just 1 second. Let me pull that up really quick. Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay, let's start off with one that I think the student did a really good job with. So we already from the title page start to see the kind of vibe that the student is going for, which is really important. So obviously our homework, the title, the name, and the class that you're in. Okay, so this student is doing paper magazine. Great explanation, right? In bullet form style, okay, having the psychographics, the target market, explaining what paper magazine is, how many issues they release, what they're all about, what they're behind. Also some examples here, what to expect, what is their style. The 2 examples that she chose are great because they all have props in them. The chair is a prop here, the telephone is a prop in this one. So really great examples here. Then our pose reference board, I think this is a little out of order, so make sure that your order is right and correct according to the assignment. But for the pose reference board, this is good. Okay, we're having 6 different ideas of how to pose your model, right? They're not all the same, which is great. They all kind of have to do with a bed or laying in this like comfy position. So I'm already getting a vibe that it's going to be in a bedroom situation. Then we're getting ideas of the props. So we're getting this cake that is a prop, possibly this a dog, okay, the 3-tiered tray with perfume and croissants. So very good job explaining the props. Okay, here's her mood board for her photo shoot. Let her eat cake. There's a name to the shoot. It's great. There's a color palette. I love the way that this is cut out here and it overlaps an image. There's texture, right? Texture here. There's movement. There's this sense of this lavish woman enjoying all the decadency that she has available to her. So it's more than just 8 images of someone eating cake or a Marie Antoinette inspired shoot. It really starts to be complex in the sense that it brings in different forms of inspiration. So really good job here on the mood board. Then we have our unedited photo, which is great. I feel like if I look back at the mood board, it's an alignment here. Great job. I think there's some things that I hope she edits out that are a little bit distracting. Let's see what our edited photo looks like. Okay, and she kind of did just that. Great editing, great copy. She added in the New York, that date, let her eat cake. I think she really did a great job. We're focused in on the prop and her eating the cake. The model is looking into the camera. The way that she's styled with the crushed velvet and the corset top really does well for the cover. Okay, some honorable mentions, which is also great, and we love to see some other ideas. And our citations and our behind the scenes images. Okay, so this is an excellent example. Let's look at this one really quick. Okay, this is the Nile. It's called the Nile, and it's for Vogue magazine. Okay, so here's some information for Vogue. So you can see how different the creative deck is for Vogue compared to paper. Paper is more fun, it's quirky, it's creative. Vogue is more elevated, very highbrow, right? Very classic. So you can see that that kind of shines through in the creative deck. Okay, here is our, so here was a page explaining what Vogue was, so with some examples of Vogue. Okay, here is her inspiration for her shoot. It's all about the Nile. I think this is great. It's a lot of vintage inspiration. I wish she would have incorporated some texture, maybe a color palette. I think that would have really helped. Okay, here's our raw image. Okay, so here she is using this piece of fabric as her prop, which works well, I think, within, you know, the texture of her background, her environment. It really looks great. It also acts as a leading line to our main subject, which I think helps. Here is the copy with the Vogue title, which also looks great. I wish here actually that she might have, I think it might have been better. She would have put Vogue here in white so we don't cut off that bird. I think that's a little distracting, but overall it's a great job. And here are some other outtakes from behind the scenes and some honorable mentions and some citations. Okay. Let's see, what other one do I want to show you guys? Let's look at this one. Okay. Editorial shoot with a prop. So this one's all about Flaunt magazine. So some information. Make sure that there's enough information on the slide on the publication that you are choosing to work for. I want to really get a comprehensive view of what this magazine is about. And adding in the 2 covers, that's great. Here's the mood board. Here's an excellent, very well done mood board. I want to point this out. Look at all the different textures, the layering, the cutouts. Look at this jellyfish. That is inspiration for movement that you'll see in her images. The vintage luggage, the backdrop, the plants, even the color palette here done in a different way. This mood board is top-notch, excellent work here. I'm very, very impressed with this mood board. Okay, so here we have our raw and edited image. So awesome picture. Obviously her prop is her suitcase. Okay, she styled this really cool outfit. She shot it in her backyard. She did some great editing skills. I think she has multiple shots here. All great covers. I think this one here is my favorite. Just with that height and the movement that she's added to the cover, I think that is the banger. That's the best one. And her citations, the student forgot to put the behind the scenes images, so don't forget that. But overall, you guys can see that. Let's see here. I'll show you guys one more. Okay, this is great. This is a great example of a great picture, but not a great deck because they're missing a lot of information. So the student, oh, maybe I won't be able to show you guys. Okay, let's do a different one. Okay, let's do this one actually. Okay, this is editorial shoot with a prop. Again, title page. We are highlighting W Magazine, so some information here. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more information on W Magazine. Great, you know, great logo information, great cover information, but there definitely needs to be a bit more information about the magazine here. Another great mood board. I love this layering. I love the texture. I love the different prints. I love the name of the shoot on top of the mood board layered on top of that like that. I love the movement. I like some inspiration here. The student didn't do a pose reference board, so that's something. So these examples are just to kind of show you what I like, what I don't like. Don't follow them to a T because some students didn't do certain things, okay? But another great image, okay? Texture, I love the outfit, I love the look in the model's face, and then edited with the copy of the magazine and the title of the photo shoot. Here's another look at that, and another one. Okay, so hopefully this helps. If you guys have any questions or need any guidance, always reach out to me, and we can set up a Zoom or we can talk over email and have fun. That's ultimately the goal, is to have fun while you're shooting and create stuff for your portfolio. So don't get too stressed out about it. Have fun, go with the flow, and I can't wait to see your guys' final product. Thanks, guys.